it's alive. Here it's alive. Let me find what here it's alive.
Today we're tying a Pheasant Tail Frenchie, Beer River style. A twist on the modern Euro nymphing essential that combines the classic pheasant tail body with a tan wire rib, ice stub color, and a fluorescent orange hotspot up front. I tied this one on a size 16 barbless jig hook from Montana Fly Company with a 2.8mm slotted tungsten bead, but you can scale it up or down depending on the depth and the flow. It gets down fast, rides hook up, and brings in fish even when they're playing hard to get. Using some 12-aught black Veevus CO1 thread, we're going to tie in our thread right behind the bee, cutting our excess free. We're then going to grab a pheasant tail, pull the fibers away from the stem until the tips align, and using our middle finger, we'll pop the fibers free. About 4 or 5 will do the trick. We're going to measure these fibers to the length of the hook shank. We'll then wrap our thread back just before the bend, about where a barb would normally be. Using a pinch wrap, we'll secure our fibers using force upwards to keep them on top of the hook, and lock them down by wrapping forward to the bead. We'll clip our excess free. Now we'll grab some UTC Brassie wire in this color tan. We'll insert the wire into the slot of the tungsten bead and secure it in. Keeping the wire alongside the side of the hook, we'll secure it all the way back to the tail. We'll wrap our thread forward to the bead and wrap back about 2/3 of the way. Bring it back up to the bead, go back about 1/3 of the way, go back up to the bead again to create a nice taper and wrap all the way back to the tail. This creates a nice tapered body. At this point, we'll grab our pheasant tail again, separating about 4 or 5 more fibers, pulling them away from the stems so the tips align, and snapping them free with our middle finger. We'll secure these to our hook shank, wrapping back right before the tail, and securing the tag ends all the way to the bead. Leaving our thread just in front of the fibers helps consolidate them as we counter wrap our pheasant tail fibers forward. Continue wrapping until you reach the bead. At this point, we'll secure our fibers in with a couple thread wraps both behind and in front, and we'll snip our excess free. Since we counter wrapped our pheasant tail fibers, we'll wrap our wire in open spirals forward. This secures in the pheasant tail fibers and creates a nice ribbing. Wrap this all the way up to the bead, at which point we'll secure it in with a couple thread wraps both behind and in front, and we'll helicopter our excess free. I like bending the wire back on itself. It weakens the metal and spins free easily. To support our small business and keep the content flowing, smash that like button. Drop a comment with your favorite wire and color combo, and subscribe to Beer River Flies for more faith-fueled tying and fishing. At this point, we'll grab some dubbing. Here I'm going to be using some Hare's Ear ice dub from Hareline in the color Hare's Ear, which is kind of a silver color. You don't need very much, as all we're doing is creating a sparse little collar at the front of the fly. You should be able to stretch this out in a sparse manner and create a dubbing noodle only about an inch or an inch and a half in length. Using consistent pressure while pushing up will help create a sparse noodle. We'll then begin wrapping our collar. At this point, we'll grab our whip finish tool, throw in a quick few turn whip finish, pulling the thread tight so it secures behind the bead. I like to throw in an extra 3 because I don't usually use glue on this type of pattern, and it helps secure the knot. And then we'll clip our thread free. Clip away any errant fibers at the front of the fly above the bead. You want to tweak the pattern a little bit for yourself, switch the bead color, try a different hotspot, or sub in a different type of dubbing. There's no limits on the Pheasant Tail Frenchie. You can leave the Pheasant Tail Frenchie just like this, and it'll fish just fine as is. But I like adding a little hotspot right in front of the collar. For that, I'll be using some B18 Fluorescent Orange Veevus thread in the size 14/0. We'll secure our thread really quick, right behind the bead. And clip our excess free. We'll then grab our whip finish tool, and with a few turns of whip finish, we'll add that fluorescent orange hotspot right behind the bead. Pull up and secure, and clip your thread free. And that is a Beer River Fly style Pheasant Tail Frenchie. I love fishing this pattern. It's built for pressure. The pheasant tail gives it that natural nymphy profile. The wire adds durability and flash, and the ice dub color with the hot spot makes it stand out in stained or fast water. It's best in sizes 14 to 18 depending on flow. It does great in tail waters as well as freestones in both pocket water and deep riffles. Dead drift it with occasional micro lifts to trigger eats. Today's verse of the week is Corinthians 10:31. So whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do it all for the glory of God. Keep your rods bent and your beers cold. I'll see you out there.